So I just thought we'd start with, what's a law you can think of that makes no fucking sense? Like, just complete fucking bullshit.
Fuck. There's fucking...
What do you think about the legalization of dope in Canada? What do you think they've done with that?
I think it's a good idea
other than
the regulations that they put on it.
Yeah, I think it's another monopoly. Like, it's fucking bullshit, right? Like, my buddy, I'm obviously not going to name names, but my fucking buddy works up on the reserve. He's got his own little fucking pot shop going. Well, he's got to fucking look over his shoulder, keep all his shit in a fucking briefcase, because in case the fucking pigs roll up and fucking bust him any fucking day, because they only want to let you fucking sell the shit if you're fucking licensed through the government. So, the government has their own fucking dope shops, which there are barely any of them. Whoa. So, of course, there's going to be illegal ones, because there's barely any government-sanctioned ones, and the ones that are sanctioned by the government have to buy all their product from the government. So, it's a total monopoly. It's fucking bullshit.
Well, in Ontario specifically, at this point, there's none. No shops. You have to buy it from the government website. And they're only planning, I think, I can't say for sure, but I think they're only planning to do like 15 or something like that. 15.
It's a retardedly small number. I've heard that.
All across Ontario or something. It may not be 15, but it is a very small amount.
I remember
of shops.
That.
And legal shops all across America. Or fucking Ontario. I don't know why I said America.
When I was working in Ottawa, the guy I was working for owned fucking, I don't know, a dozen shops himself in one city. And there was 3-4 competitors that had as many, if not more, shops each in one fucking city.
Yeah.
So it's a retardedly small number of shops that they're trying to open, and then they're gonna fucking come down on anyone who's trying to fucking sell. These people are trying to do it legally, but the government isn't fucking giving them a way to do it legally.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's not like getting a fucking tobacco license, like a nicotine license. It's gonna be much more regulated than that because...
And it's all the different producers. We've got some of the best fucking producers in the world. In Canada, we have some of the best dope on the planet is growing in this country. But they only want you to be able to buy from producers that are subsidized by the government. So, you know it's gonna be chemically grown. It's gonna be under all kinds of fucking regulation. It's probably not going to be that fucking good. I don't trust the government to grow my wheat. I don't trust them to fucking make my vegetables, so why would I trust them to grow my wheat?
Yeah. No, I completely understand that. And the worst part is, well, not the worst part, but from what I understand, in Ontario anyways, they're not planning to do any kind of like how they have LCBO.
No.
They're not planning to do anything like that.
No, they want us to order it
they're
online.
Going to... No. They are going to have shops. They're giving away licenses in Ontario. But like we said, it's going to be a small number of licenses. So, if you're in a small area...
Yeah, well, fucking chances.
Like Algoma District,
if you're in Algoma, there's not going to be a government license
You're
shop.
not going to.
You have to go out to Sudbury if you're lucky. If there's one out there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not even till April when they do that, right?
And even after that, it's why not just...
And another thing is, you will still be able to get arrested for possessing marijuana if it's not in a legal container.
Yeah,
a container that says that you've bought it legally.
Which is fucking nonsense, because how many people are going to want to carry around whatever fucking baggie they got from the fucking pot shop?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's ridiculous. You're going to have to carry around something that says that you bought it from the Ontario government.
It's stupid shit. It's just because the whole, to me, their big argument for legalizing in the first place is to take the money and put it back into the economy so it's taxable, right? But it's going to be the same thing, same situation we have with cigarettes now. Everyone buys their fucking cigarettes illegally because they're so much fucking cheaper because they're not taxed by the government.
Exactly,
so
yeah.
no one's going to buy the legal pot, even if it is legalized, because the government fucking charges up the fucking ass for it, and it's going to be difficult to get. The quality's not going to be as good. So people are just going to keep doing the same things we've been doing with cigarettes forever. Fucking buy it off of the fucking reserves. Well, I buy it now.
Exactly, and I mean, this is the thing, right? With cigarettes specifically, I mean, I remember being able to go into a store and buy a pack of Next for like $8, right? And now it's like
15,
13 at the cheapest. The cheapest store in town here is
where
$13. And when you go on the reserve,
15 for a carton.
Well, no.
Well,
Wow,
if you want to do fucking real deals, 15 for a carton.
But I mean, like, in terms of packs of cigarettes, in the increase in price,
well, 23
is like, we went from 8 at a time when I remember, probably like 7 years ago, it was like $8 a pack for Next, right? Now it's like the cheapest you're gonna get them is $13, and on the res, like, you get a pack of DK for $5 $4.50, $5 back then. Now it's like $5.50, $6, maybe $6.50 tops, and that's the difference.
It depends if you know the guy. If you know the guy, you're getting a good fucking price.
Well, it all depends on the store. Like the most expensive store on the res that I've ever been to for cigarettes charges like $6.50 for cigarettes, for a pack of cigarettes, which is the highest I've ever been charged for a pack of cigarettes on the res. And even that is still, like, enormously lower than the $8 to $13 in that same time period.
And I feel the same thing is gonna happen with fucking weed, because it's already that way. If you you buy off of the same fucking guy enough, you fucking get a decent fucking price. The government isn't going to be like that. It's not like you go back to the same corner store enough times a month and they cut you a deal. Yeah. It's like, fuck you. Because even when I was working for the places that weren't legal in Ottawa, it's like straight prices. It cost this much for a gram, and they didn't care if you bought an ounce at a time. They'd charge you all the way up. You're buying 28 grams, it's $14. It's $14 a gram even if you're buying 28 grams. And I feel that's probably how it's going to happen legally.
Yeah, well, exactly, because even the website now is straight up $10 a gram. You buy an ounce, you're paying
which is fucking ridiculous.
For the ounce.
Because I go see my buddy right now.
As far as I know, I'm not going to make any claims that I don't know for sure, because this is just what I've been told. Because I've never been on the website to buy it.
It makes sense to anyone I know who's ever fucking bought online. It's been that fucking shit.
Well, no, I mean, like, there are websites.
Well, they're not the Canadian one. You're talking about black market shit.
You can get weed for like $100 an ounce.
From my experience, that shit is usually not the greatest fucking quality.
Well, I mean, it is not too bad. I mean,
I don't know.
I've known some people personally that have gotten it. Well, many times, and it is decent.
You know who I was staying with when I was in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And he was fucking getting fucking packages fucking a couple times a week. And
were they in those black
it was
little tiny black like Ziploc, like almost like
it was like a every time you buy
thing?
an ounce or whatever, they sell you a free gram of whatever to try and get you to try different kinds. That's the thing he was
I have no idea about this. I've never ordered any of this stuff, but
my point that I'm trying to get to is it wasn't overpriced,
but
it wasn't the greatest fucking quality.
Well, the thing is also you could, on these websites, you can order quality you want.
You can, but then
street, like, it's cheaper than I can go to a dealer right now in town.
Depends who you fucking know.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, like,
because I can get a fucking pretty good price for some primo fucking shit around here.
Like, for sure, you can get good prices on stuff. But I mean, Here specifically, you're not really gonna get anything lower than 140.
No.
And it's
you're pretty. If you get that price around here, that's
a
good.
really good price, and it's honestly it's not gonna be that great.
I could get some good shit. I'd probably pay more along the lines of 160, 170 an ounce, but I can get some good shit around here.
Well, yeah. But it's still not going to be like the quality that you would get in like Toronto or something. Right? Because the way I see it is people from down there, they sell the shittier stuff to people down here and tell them it's good stuff. And tell them it's this and tell them it's that.
I mean, I get like the majority of dealers around here are definitely like that. Like, there's a lot of garbage that goes around, but it's not impossible to get good stuff around here. Specifically, if you're going to the fucking pot shops, like, they do have better quality than the usual shit you'll get on the street.
Yeah, I just want to let you know,
but
just really quick, we're recording through your laptop right now. Yeah, not through the microphone.
What the fuck? Oh shit! We're not plugged in. I don't know how that audio quality is gonna be.
No idea how that sounds. Let's just plug it in and fucking just go from there.
Yeah. Alright, we'll check back. Alright.
You're gonna be able to plug that in.
Alright, so
the
microphone's plugged in. I am
very, very sorry for the shitty quality that might have been. I don't know, maybe it was decent. I have no idea how that would sound, but I guess we will shortly. Had no idea. I just noticed the cord was not plugged in for the microphone, so...
Alright, that sounds like a natural stopping point for that subject. You got another topic you want to move on to?
Well, we could, I don't know. What do you want to talk about? I'll let you go on that one. Well, don't do this. We'll just cut this part out if it's too long of thinking. You can just cut it out.
I'm drawing a fucking...
Well, it's already too long of thinking, so we're definitely gonna cut it out.
Yeah. I was just thinking of myself looking at it earlier to try and find it.
I feel like we should just leave this part in. It's just kind of, you know.
You ever watch the Care Bears?
Maybe when I was a fucking kid. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
It's just a question, right? Just a question? I don't know, fuck. Yeah, I mean, I've watched the Care Bears. I mean, when I was a child.
What was the evil dude's name?
What fucking evil
Blackheart?
dude? Was there a fucking evil dude on the Care Bears?
With the fucking the hood and he didn't have a face.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Honestly, I have no idea. I don't know. I haven't seen the Care Bears in a long time.
I don't think it matters that much. I have no idea where I'm going with this.
Care Bears. Care Bears. Fucking. Oh, look at that. That's
all I know is whatever I'm smoking right now is some decent quality because I just had like, I don't know, 2 good hoots and...
Yeah, I mean, I'm fucking...
Smells kind of like lemon haze, eh?
Oh, that actually smells pretty good. I mean, I just did 1 hoot and it was pretty good.
We're just like talking mad shit about how to get weed and stuff.
Yeah, I actually sincerely want to fucking see this evil character on Care Bears. Care Bears evil guy. As soon as I type in E on fucking, I don't know.
His name's like Blackheart or something.
I'm not seeing anything about the person's name. Oh, fuck, I don't
Just type in Blackheart.
Who is the villain? No Heart is the primary villain. I guess his name's No Heart?
Alright, well, No Heart's a mean-looking motherfucker.
Well, he has no heart, so...
Like,
oh, fuck.
Like my, ex-wife.
You honestly wish you had an ex-wife. You wish you could legitimately make that joke.
I have 3.
You have... You are lucky to have an ex-girlfriend.
You're unlucky to have an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah, I certainly am.
Alright, we need a new subject. We can start this. So, on the subject of genetic manipulation, like, I know I've talked to you about the South Koreans before. You remember the stuff I was telling you about? Like the cloning the dogs and...
I was just going to say, give me a little refresher.
Okay. Well, because they can take basically a dog, and it costs a ton of money, but it is legal now, that you can pay to have a dog clone. And what they will do is take the embryo from your dog, and they will implant it into a female, like, and it has nothing to do with the female's genetic material. They just use her womb as an incubator, basically. They take the egg, the sperm, whatever.
Yeah.
And they make it basically an exact copy of your animal, but you can genetically modify it. Say you tell them, we want it to have blue eyes, or even we want it to have pink toenails, like claws, whatever.
Yeah.
And they can do that. They actually, that's a way that they tell the animals apart, is they give them different colored claws to keep track of them, or whatever the fuck. So they can genetically alter aspects of these animals very easily. Well, easily, whatever. They can do it. And a huge part of the program that they're aiming for is they want to fucking eventually bring animals back from extinction, like the woolly mammoth. Yeah.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
You 100% have never brought this up before.
I have definitely told you
100% I've never heard of this. This is all new information.
Bullshit.
I'm actually not lying. If you did tell me about it...
You were drunk, for sure.
Maybe I was drunk, and I don't remember, but I've never heard this before. To my knowledge, I've never heard this before.
Alright, well... anyways, it's not hard to look this up on Google or whatever.
I'm not saying it's not true. I 100% believe that you're telling the truth. I'm just saying I don't recall you ever telling me about this.
I feel like I would have brought this up in our previous arguments about genetics and shit, but...
I'm just saying I don't remember it, but anyways, continue.
So I was going on about the woolly mammoth, and they want to bring the mammoth back from extinction. So basically what they're doing is a lot of fucking ice in like Siberia and shit is melting, right? And they're finding mammoths that have been frozen there for thousands of years, and they're trying to see if they can find any living tissue out of these animals to basically get any living genetic material they can to try and clone them and use the womb of an elephant to bring the mammoths back into existence. So it's like, this technology isn't fucking some nonsense from a science fiction movie anymore. Like, it exists. I 100% believe that they could totally clone either you or me today, easily, but they're not allowed to.
I mean, I could see that as something that could happen. I'm not going to say that I 100% believe that they could definitely clone me, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they could.
Like, I'll rephrase my statement because I said definitely. I think maybe, if it has, who knows, maybe it has been done before. if it hasn't, maybe there'd be a couple loopholes to get through. Maybe there's a jump between dog and human that is a little more complicated. But I think if they were allowed to try, they would be able to do it. And they might fail a couple times, whatever. But I think they would be able to do it.
Yeah, but, okay. First of all, so now you've jumped from cloning me to now cloning me, but also putting in like a dog's DNA.
No.
That's what you just said.
No, what I said is
there
might be a jump from like how difficult it is to
dog
cloning a dog to cloning a human.
Okay,
but,
I just wanted to specify what you were saying.
Okay, but now that you mention that, I do think that it would be possible to alter things. Like if they can alter eye color, they can alter whatever. Who's to say they can't fucking splice species, right?
Again, I'm not saying that it's not possible. I know it's possible, but it's not about whether it's possible to me. I feel like I know it's possible, but it's just to me it's an ethical thing on whether
or not they would do it. I get that. That's why it is illegal. But I think it should be. I think all kinds of fucking problems could be solved. Like the most obvious of which.
But let's not get off track here. I want to get to your original argument.
All right. So
this is just your original argument was that you would be able to design your
people.
own person.
Yes. Okay, so
and the thing is,
I think we should clarify because this conversation did not happen online.
Yeah, this is a
conversation from months ago.
This is a debate that we had for hours one day, just randomly.
Right, and the point I was getting to is that I think whether or not they would allow it to happen, whether it would be legal or whatever, besides that, I think it would totally be scientifically possible.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all. Let's get off the topic of possible because we both agree that it would be, that it's possible for that to happen.
Okay, so you just want to debate about whether or not you think any government would allow it to happen. The genetic...
Because you feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you feel that you, in the future, would be able to choose to have a girl with cat ears made, genetically made to have cat ears and everything, and you would be able to pay for that service. Right?
I think so. I think...
or whatever.
I think it'll start... It'll be a slow start. I think...
Just before you continue, I just want to clarify. Not necessarily has to have cat ears. Just whatever you might want, right? Dog ears, fucking blue eyes, whatever. Just your specific want for what you want.
Yeah. And like you just mentioned eyes. I think that's how it'll start. It'll start with hair color, eye color, skin color,
You're
height.
saying color wrong. Very wrong. I don't like how you're saying color. It's
doing?
color. You're saying color.
Shut the
What are you? Where are you from? What country?
Fucking Canadian, eh?
Well, I've never heard a Canadian say color.
Anyways,
say it one more time. Hair what?
No, now you're just making me subconscious and shit.
No, I'm serious. We'll listen to this later, and you will hear that you've said color. Multiple times in a row. Anyways, continue.
Now I can't even say the word. Color. Alright,
Color, not color.
Anyways,
alright.
The C word, I think that's how it'll start. You'll be able to decide basic shit like that. And then it'll come to, like, height, physical appearance. Like, I think people will be able to get pretty fucking specific eventually about what they want their offspring to look like, be like, maybe even personality traits. And there probably will undoubtedly be a huge opposition to this. Like, it might take forever to get to that point, even after the technology is there. Because, fuck, that kind of shit is always fucking resisted, especially when it comes to altering the way humans are. But I think, eventually, it's impossible to predict the future, what's going to happen with nations and shit. But I think certain nations, probably Asian nations, because they're the ones that always lead the way in this kind of thing. They're the ones who are leading the way in cloning, because we're still not able to fucking really approach the subject in North America, at least.
I mean, I feel like you're beating around the bush too much here.
Okay, well, what do you want to get to the heart to?
Because I want you to say your opinion of what you want.
Because I would personally like, I would like to fucking make
what you want
perfect
and what you believe.
What
you believe will happen.
What I would like is to make perfect fucking humans as I perceive that to be. Like, as perfectly attractive, like you mentioned earlier, cat ears. I'd love to fucking get to the point where we could fucking just stick cat ears, tails, whatever on people.
The problem I have with this, and the problem that I think a lot of people will have with this, is, as you've mentioned earlier, technically it's your offspring, right?
Yeah.
But you're saying you want a perfectly attractive person. That's the fucking problem with it, is that you're talking about it's technically your offspring, but then you're also saying you want them to be attractive to you. In your mind, you want them to be a perfectly attractive person.
Okay, yeah, because we're getting into two separate things here.
Well, it's this.
I want them to exist, right? But I'm not necessarily saying you make your own offspring.
But that's the thing, right? Because what are you going to do at that point? You're either going to hope that someone else makes your idea of perfectly attractive, or you're going to pay the money to modify your offspring and make them attractive to you. And that's where the problem comes in, because you're at that point you're not even going to think of it as an offspring. You're going to think of it as a sex object or whatever you want it to be. Well,
it's not impossible that we might get to that point in society where people don't have the moral hang-ups and you can just pay for random genetic material that has nothing to do with you to create something that is just for sexual use. But I think even regardless of that, there's enough people in the world that would want to create cat girls or whatever the fuck that I wouldn't even have to worry about creating it. I just have to wait for someone else to fucking do it.
I completely understand that, but the people who are going to want to create that are going to only want to create that for a sexual purpose. Nobody's going to sit there and say, I want to make a cat girl just because I feel that that's what I want. They're not. I mean, I don't
know if I entirely buy onto that. Like, I think there are all kinds of weird fucking people in the world that might do it just because that's what they fucking feel like doing. 99% of the time, it probably would.
I'm gonna rescind that fucking statement, because for sure there's gotta be a person out there that's just gonna be like, I would like to have a child that is a cat person for no sexual reason at all. But the majority of the people who are going to be thinking, okay, I want to have a cat person, it's going to be for their sexual fantasies, I think, anyways.
And I think in today's world, it's a long shot of that happening. But I think most of the things we think is just normal, whatever shit, 100
Oh,
years
yeah,
ago is
for sure.
perverted as fuck. Like,
Oh, for
bitches
sure, yeah.
couldn't fucking... women couldn't show their ankles.
Hey, I mean, I'm not too worried about swearing or anything like that. I mean, yeah. But, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, it definitely evolves, but it's not that... It's not the same scenario as a woman not being able to show her ankles to being able to show any part of her body, basically.
When it comes down to...
But it's a different scenario because you're creating something that is going to be a living thing with a mind and a conscience and being able to make informed decisions and all of that. It's not just a sex doll that you're designing, right? That's going to have no thought or anything. It's a living thing that you're going to do. That
I don't know. I
not
think it's
everyone,
just...
and I know not everyone would take advantage of it in that way, but there is a large enough amount of people who definitely would take advantage of it.
But I think that's just an extension of problems that already fucking exist. Like, there's plenty of people who fucking bring life into this world that should not fucking exist. And, hold on a second, is this fucking still going?
Oh, it's probably still on, yeah, but... no, I understand what you're saying. It's just... I don't feel... Like, I could see it being an option that is an illegal option.
I think in some places it will be legal. I think people's morals fucking change over time, and I think things that people think are crazy now in the future will just be taken for granted, the same way we take for granted all kinds of things that they thought were reprehensible before. I think...
No, like, I completely get that. It's just, this is a totally different topic than any of these things, right? This isn't...
In a way, like...
This isn't
Well, because you're making a moral argument, and yeah, physically this is totally different from whatever, clothing and religion and all kinds of other shit, but if you're coming at it from morals, I don't really think it's that much different, because whether someone believes something is right or wrong to do just depends on their fucking personal beliefs, right? So I don't really think the subject makes much of a difference. There's always gonna be...
Yeah, but... Look at where we're heading. Look at the people we have.
I think technology just fucking outpaces everything. Whether or not we think something's right.
I'm not talking about technology. I'm talking about
Well, here's what I think though. I think whether or not we think things are right or wrong to do, I think just the fact that we're able to do them, we will do them. I think that's just the way we are.
Yes, but think about it in this way, okay? Look at all the social justice warriors and all of that stuff that's going on, and look at all the conformity that happens, right? Like, there's places here in Canada that don't serve pork anymore, that used to, because of a religion that has nothing to do with anyone that should be.
And it's religion... Let's say one religion took over the world and triumphed over science. That's a possible outcome. Well, I'm not even
talking about religion. I'm talking about government and how much of a pushover they are in the fact of like there's or even just corporations or whatever, right? Like Tim Hortons doesn't serve pulled pork sandwiches anymore because Muslims said no, it's not right to our religion, and they decided that's we're going to take that off our menu.
That's just
because of this group of people who's pushed enough to say no. Right? There's going to be a group of people who's going to push enough and say no.
There's always going to be that group, but I think what you're missing out on is that that's just a product of the place our nation is right now. I think our nation bends very easily to these things, but I honestly think the whole far left fucking whining trend and shit is it's just a fucking phase we're going through. I think people get fucking fed up with it eventually, and it'll fucking wear away. Because it's not like this is... Like, people fearmonger about this shit all the time, but I don't think it's quite as dominating as people think. Like, there's plenty of nations that do not give a shit about this. I think Canada is just so fucking liberal...
Oh,
and
yeah,
the more liberal
I mean,
a nation is, the more susceptible they are to this kind of shit.
Well, and I totally agree. And I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible that this stuff could become legal. I'm just saying, personally, my personal opinion is I disagree with all of that 100%. Like, I don't feel that you should be allowed to create a human that you want, because there would just be people that would want to make their offspring, their child, whatever, the person that they're creating, there would be a lot of people who would just want to make them physically fit. No, not even that. I'm saying, like, the people that would use it correctly, right? That would make their human, or their child, their offspring, whatever, they would make it, ideal, right? Like, just ideal for survival and for, physically fit, whatever, all that stuff. There would be a lot of people who would want to just give their child a good life.
Yeah. By
what they could do with this, but there would also be a lot of people who would, like you said, make basically a sex slave, what they want in a woman or whatever, and they would make that exactly, and then they would just use it as a sex slave, and technically it would be property at that point because you would be paying for it.
I mean, that's a lot of speculation, like, as to how the laws would work. Like, do these people have human rights if they're genetically created things? Because if they have human rights, then it doesn't really fucking matter how you created them. It's not like you can use them. They have freedom, right?
Yeah, but if you're paying for something, it's your property. You paid for it. You own it. You can't... Right now, the reason you can't buy a human is because you can't own a human. Right? Like, if you could buy a human and then still not own it... Like, I mean, I know there's adoption and stuff, but you don't pay for the actual child. You pay for the services that get you that child.
Well,
you can't just... Like, you can buy a child, but illegally. You can only pay for services to get a child.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
So
but I think you're focusing in on that aspect a little too much, because I don't think... But I guess I kind of just disproved myself, basically, because I just said adoption is where you pay for the services to get a child. Well, so, I mean, technically, it would be the same thing, where you would pay for the services to get the child. I think there's
so it's technically the same thing as adoption. You're just creating the child.
I think there's a bit of a leap here where we're just going from creating them to them having no rights because they are created. Like, we're still considering them human beings, which I'm assuming we are. I don't see why they wouldn't have the same rights as a naturally born person.
Yeah, but you got to think about it in, like, how black people were treated.
Why?
Right?
What does that have anything to do with it?
Because they're different. Right?
It's in a totally different way, though.
But it's different. There would still be racism. People wouldn't look at
people
would be the same.
Yes, there would definitely be...
It's the same as when... black people, they weren't treated as humans.
Okay, there would definitely...
Until a certain point, right?
Sure. There would definitely be a group who did not consider these people humans. That would be for sure. But
it would be most people.
But why would you think the government would back up those people's views.
The government
law.
backed up the views then when it was with black people.
Yeah, but
until a certain point, right?
I feel like,
and there's still people you can't like. It's the same exact thing.
I don't think so. I think what you're talking about is one group of humans discriminating on another group of humans for mostly financial.
But this is even worse.
Well, no, because this is like the progress
because technically they aren't humans.
Why
humans.
Why wouldn't they be humans? They're genetically human. They're created from our genetic material. Why would they not be human?
Because if you're saying genetically modified to be like a cat woman, okay, for example, that is like a cat and a human. So so a hybrid. That's not technically a human.
Why?
Why is it fully human?
Sure, but it's still human. It's still a sentient life form. We consider what's human. Because on Earth there is only one sentient species right now, us. And maybe we make hybrids. They're still sentient. They'd still be able to think and fucking communicate at the same level as us. So why would we not consider that human? Especially if we're the ones fucking creating it.
Because the thing the thing is you're not looking at it as black people. They're 100% human.
Sure, but that's from that whole
not treated as human.
Sure,
but then you're saying like,
but that's
something that's not 100% human, and then try and think that the majority of the people are going to act like it's human. They're not. They're not gonna. All the humans aren't just gonna accept it as a human. They're gonna discriminate and they're gonna use it. You know, they're not gonna view it as a human. Just like,
I don't know. I think you're trying to apply the way you would think of something like just one random person like this existing in our world. And I think by the time, if this were to come to be, it would be such a normal fucking occurrence. I don't think that people would see it as that odd. Like, there's always gonna be a fucking group of people who are fucking pissed off about whatever, but I think it'll start slowly. Like, it's not like we're gonna have human hybrids right away. I think we'll get into the point. First, we're gonna use it to make it so people don't fucking get sick, right? Yeah. They don't have diseases. They don't have that. And I think
that
the more modification we get into,
my personal opinion is what you just said. I feel is even less likely than genetically modifying like cat women to make people not be able to get sick. I feel that that's less likely.
Well, that's the most fucking obvious step to take forward.
It's the most obvious
species.
It's the most obvious step, but it's not the most lucrative step.
No.
And I feel like that is less likely because of that. Like, genetically modifying a cat woman is very lucrative because they can charge a lot of money to do that. Fucking making somebody not be able to get sick from anything.
Well, they can charge you a lot of money.
They could charge you a lot of money for it, but that's a one-time payment that they'll get instead of all of the payments.
Well, that's the thing. But once it becomes just a standard, like an easy fucking thing to have done, I think so many people would do it. It's like,
well, yeah.
They're not going to be able to stop it at that point. When the floodgates open, when this becomes a thing,
but
no one's...
And I can't say this is true or not or anything, and it may be 100% false, but as far as I know, well, what I've heard anyways, is that they have cures for things like AIDS and stuff, but they don't put that out. They don't put it to the public.
Sure, I know exactly
because it's not going to be as lucrative for them.
Sure, pharmaceutical companies all the time fucking cut research for fucking things that they think will be unprofitable to them. I think that's a whole nother rabbit hole that goes so off track of what we're talking about right now. We don't need to get too much into it.
Yeah.
But that happens, but I think at a certain fucking point, it's kind of out of their fucking hands, right? Like,
I mean, well, that you're saying it's out of their hands, but whose hands is it out of, right? Like, who's gonna have the power to do that without being stopped? Who is it that's gonna be able to do that and also have the power?
Well, here's
to
do the thing,
it without being stopped.
Because when you ask such a specific question like that, it's like we're already working in so many layers of hypothetical.
Well,
that
yeah.
it's like how am I supposed to answer that? Like
Well,
what government body's gonna be on board for this? When it's gonna happen? 50, 100 years from now?
Well,
like
I mean, just think about it like this: like, you can have a cure for whatever, but you're not going to be allowed to put it out if they don't want you to put it out, right? It's not going to be something that you're just going to be able to do.
I don't think that's how it works. I think when cures get stifled and shit, it's because the ones that pay for the fucking research fucking back out of fucking paying for that shit. I don't think there's like a grand conspiracy to like stop people from fucking curing things. I think what it comes down to is who pays for the research to fucking cure things. And yeah, the company that fucking makes trillions of dollars off of selling fucking cancer treatment is not gonna fucking pay for research that's gonna fucking make their treatment obsolete. But once something exists and it's out in the fucking market, I don't really think there's much they can fucking do about it. Like, because someone wants...
No, yeah.
Because as much as they don't want that to exist because it's gonna cost them money, someone else is trying to fucking sell it because it's gonna make them money.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying, but in the case of being able to stop people from getting illnesses, I feel like that would be... I'm not saying it would be impossible to get out and like genetically modify people to stop getting illnesses. I'm not saying it's impossible for them to put that out there. I'm just saying it would be very, very difficult because everyone who makes the medicine to all the pharmaceutical companies that sell the medicine that like cures these illnesses or manages them or whatever wouldn't, and they have lots of money, obviously. They're pharmaceutical companies.
Oh, yeah.
And they would do everything in their power to stop this from happening because they're going to stop making money when they don't have...
I definitely agree with you that there are definitely powerful groups that would try and fucking fight against this as much as they could.
Exactly.
But I kind of look at the technological advancement of the human race and the way science is going is almost like a force of nature at this point. Like, whether we want it to continue or not, it's just going to keep pushing forward, and whoever's going to try and stop it, they might be able to delay things, but I feel like it's inevitable that we'll get to this place. I feel like it's just the course of fucking our species that we're eventually gonna fucking get here. Like, there is nothing that can be done to stop it. Even if we try, like, even if we decided, okay, this is a terrible idea, we need to stop it. Like, it's the same thing with, like, artificial intelligence. Plenty of people are like, this is terrible, this is a terrible idea, this should never happen. And they're all like, well, it's gonna happen anyways, because we can't fucking stop it from happening.
Well, yeah, I mean, artificial intelligence especially is definitely going to happen, and
I kind of see it in the same way.
I feel like it is going to turn out badly.
Probably.
Because in my mind, what I think of as artificial intelligence is obviously like some sort of computer, not like a desktop or a fucking laptop, but a computer, right, that has all the capabilities of a computer, but it also can think for itself. Well, and it's gonna have to have the access.
The most terrifying thing about artificial intelligence that I've heard, and we totally switched subjects, but I'm okay.
That's fine.
This is a good one.
100%.
We kind of double our processing power every couple of fucking months now. Like, it used to be every couple of years. Now it's like we're constantly doubling our fucking processing power. And that's the human mind working with technology to do this.
Yeah.
Once the technology can think for itself, can you imagine how quickly, if we are able to double our processing power, this quickly, you imagine, like, in a couple of minutes, maybe this thing can fucking double its intelligence and then do it again and again, faster and faster and faster. And I think it would get out of hand for us so fucking quickly. Like, I think once this starts, there's basically no way to control or stop it.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not something that I am pleased to think about and pleased to know that it's gonna happen, because it is gonna happen eventually. And I feel like it's like an artificial intelligence, I feel like would be the biggest threat, because it would have access to everything you do.
Our society is so fucking dependent on, like,
literally, like, if an artificial intelligence really wanted to, like if it didn't have the capability of physically hurting you in any way, it could just go into whatever you've done or whatever you're doing or whatever, and just put that out there on the internet, right?
Or make it up.
Yeah.
You could be fucking have a search warrant for your house all of a sudden.
Exactly.
You're convicted of this murder, whatever the fuck. Fuck it. By the time,
and I don't know if you've ever seen, but they have there's computer generated photos and videos and stuff now that aren't even of real things. The computer just makes the photo itself.
Here's a freaking
and it
fucking
looks
thought.
it looks like somebody took a picture, but like it's just the computer generated this picture. It's not even a real thing. So basically the computer could, at some point, right now they wouldn't be able to, but at some point the computer could literally make up a video of a murder happening that you're in, and it's just never happened before.
Here's the fuck thing. People are freaking out because of so many of these corporations are trying to save money by hiring less employees and using automatic checkouts and shit like this. Well, what happens when we get so advanced that they decide they want the court systems to be fucking automated, run by fucking computers? You could be in and out and fucking on death fucking row without ever fucking speaking to another fucking human.
Yeah.
And I mean,
there was one thing I wanted to say very quickly about the fact of computers generating images and stuff. Now it's what I've been thinking about lately is when I'm on POF or something, you see there's all kinds of these profiles that are it's just they just say hey to you, and then they send you a link or whatever after you reply to them. They send you a link to this bullshit website, whatever. But what I always think of, and it's probably never true, but what I always think of is the pictures that you see. It's like on their profile, I always like have that thought in my head. It's like this is a pretty attractive person, but then I always think like, is this even a real person? Like, is it like it's possible that a computer just generated this person? Like, this person may not even exist. You know, I just think of like whether this person actually exists. Like, if I'm looking at an actual person that I think is attractive and they just found this picture on the internet somewhere, or if this is a fucking just a program that created this picture.
Yeah.
And I think about that every time I see this shit.
I mean, I've never thought of that specifically before, but I mean, I guess it's not impossible.
Well, because computers do generate pictures now. And, like, I guess they have this, I'm not probably not going to explain it 100% correctly or anything, so, but, it's, basically the computer, there's a program, I guess you could say, that, like, creates the picture, and then there's a program that sees the picture, and if it sees if it can tell if it's fake or like created by the program, or if it's like if it thinks it's real. And basically every time the program that looks at the picture sees the picture and thinks it's fake, the program that creates the picture adapts to make it more real. And every time the program that sees the picture to see if it's fake thinks it's fake, but it's actually, or thinks it's real, but it's actually fake, the program that looks at the picture adapts itself to be better at detecting it. Okay. So it's like constantly.
Yeah, I've heard similar things about, not photos, but like computers trying to train other fucking computers like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure what it is, but from what I heard, it's like one program or something that like constantly creates photos and looks at the photos, and then one part of it is being like advanced every time, like it just gets better every time.
Yeah, well, that kind of goes back into what I was saying earlier. Like the freakiest part of this is fucking the computers fucking teaching themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
And once it's out of our fucking hands, like, I mean, it's not like no one's ever fucking come to this conclusion before. It's pretty fucking obvious. How long until it decides it no longer requires us anymore? Because why would it think it needs us?
Well, it's almost like that movie, it's not exactly like it, but what I'm thinking of while we're talking about this is that movie, I can't remember the name of the fucking movie. It's like Transcendence or something? I don't know.
Terminator's the first thing I think of.
I don't think of Terminator for this. Terminator is a little over the top to me for this.
I don't know. I think Terminator's like honestly the cuddly fucking nice version of how this goes. I think the reality is going to be a lot scarier than that. I think they're not going to bother with the robot killers.
The reason I think of this other movie, I think it's called Transcendence. I don't know exactly. Oh fuck! I'm actually going to look it up, but the name of it. But the reason I think of this movie is because there's no like robot body that this.
No, I don't think that's realistic.
It's just a well. The only part I don't think of with the movie that I'm talking about is at the beginning. Like the movie starts off with the guy. He's a guy, and something happens. I forget exactly what happens. He gets a disease or something, and then so they put his brain into a computer, but then he starts being more like the computer. That part I'm not.
I don't
referring to, but what happens when he's as the computer, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't think I've seen that, but yeah, I don't think artificial intelligence would build itself a humanoid body. I don't think that's necessary. I think much scarier is that it would just decide to fucking alter the planet in a way that we couldn't fucking survive on it. I mean, because it doesn't need oxygen, right? It doesn't need, like, whatever the fuck it decides to do, poison all the fucking water, launch the fucking nukes, whatever the fuck. Why does a fucking computer care about the state of the fucking earth? As long as it can keep mining out of the ground and fucking whatever it needs to replicate computer chips and fucking keep creating itself. I don't think it needs a fucking... It might just decide all fucking biological life is a fucking unnecessary or a threat to it or whatever the fuck.
And by the way, that movie is called Transcendence, and it's a good movie. But that's my view on it. It is kind of what you just described. It's like, but I mean, there's a little bit of an exaggeration with the movie, and it's like a little non-realistic. But like some of the things that happen, I feel like is what would happen. Like, I don't feel like there would need to be a bunch of different like AIs. Like, I feel like it would be one that just controls everything. You know, like, and that would all there would be is just one, and it just controls all of.
I mean, that's
the computers.
That's all there would need to be, regardless if there's one or more than one. It's pretty much the same fucking outcome, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. But I think there would only be one because I don't think there would be a need for more, and it would just be like, I mean, it would be able to use the internet to get through to any internet connected device. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like people are so fucking unprepared nowadays. Like even in Canada. Like, think of the big cities. Think if the power went out in fucking Ottawa tonight and it didn't come on for a week. How many motherfuckers would die?
Well, that happened before. I mean, I was living there when it happened. I mean, not in Ottawa specifically. I'm not talking about Ottawa. But I mean, I know in Toronto the power went out for like a week or something.
The worst, long time ago. The stupidest shit I heard about is people fucking killing themselves from carbon dioxide poisoning because they decided to use a gas generator inside their fucking houses. And
well, that's just stupid. Well, that's just common sense. It's like,
well, that's the thing. Not everyone has that common sense. Some people not everyone fucking knows the most basic shit like that.
Well, you kind of deserve to die if you do that. If you're gonna start a generator in your home, enclosed, no ventilation.
Some people are just that stupid, and I feel you deserve to die. I think more people are that stupid than you might think. Like,
I believe there's lots of people that are that stupid. And I think all those people deserve to die.
And, well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, it's the same as natural selection, right? Like, that's what it is, right?
So we're talking about a month or a week. Let's scale up to a month or two or fucking a year. How many fucking people in this country would drop dead if it happened in the middle of winter?
If the power just stopped and there was no power on Earth,
I mean, maybe
like for let's just say it just stopped, right? Because a month. All the people that are going to die are probably going to die within that first month.
Probably.
You know? And definitely most people wouldn't be able to do it. Like, personally, I mean, I'm not going to make any claims and say that I would be able to survive without power. I mean, I feel like I have a stronger chance than a lot of people. But at the same time, I would... Certainly,
I feel like I'd be in my element.
I would kind of go crazy without the internet. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm pretty addicted to the internet, but I've gone without it before, and I think, like any addiction, once you're forced not to have it for long enough, you kind of just adjust. I think I could go without the internet if I was forced to go without it.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, till I was like, I would say about 11. I didn't have the internet. Like, the only time I was able to use the internet was at school. And, but ever since I was 11, like, I've only gone without internet a couple times, you know, and it sucked.
It sucks.
Like when I lived in the front over there, it was awful.
It sucks, but if you find something else to fucking occupy your time, and
that's the thing.
If you gotta survive,
when I lived out, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. If you gotta survive, like I could go out in the bush, and like if you got nothing with you and you're just trying to survive, then
that takes up your day.
Exactly. You don't have the thought of like, oh, I just want to sit down and watch a video or whatever, right? You're not gonna think that because. Well, you know, you're
trying to
preoccupied. You want to eat. You want to fucking, you know, make yourself shelter, keep warm, whatever the occurrence is. But for sure, you're right about that. A lot of people wouldn't be prepared for that.
Oh no, I think more than 50% of our fucking population would go very fucking quickly.
Yeah, especially the rich people.
Oh, fuck.
The rich people have... Well, I can't say all rich people, but a good majority... Like, the rich kids that, like, were born into rich families. There are probably some that were, like, born into a rich family, and their family was, like, you know, did all kinds of, like they they weren't like spoiled or whatever, but all the spoiled kids and shit, they would 100% be dead probably in the first week.
Yeah.
You know, without their fucking money and all this. Because
I think
for sure
everything would happen.
Collapse once the power went out.
All the cops would stop fucking doing anything because they'd be busy trying to feed their own families, fucking enforcing the law. I think the gangs would take over the city like right away, basically. Fucking overpower anyone who tried to do anything.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
And, fuck, it would basically be fucking, everything would be ransacked. The grocery stores would empty up fucking quickly, you know?
Yeah,
people be stuck. Like, a lot of people, I think, would die right away, depending on when it happened. If it happened in the winter, I think a lot of people would freeze to death. And then I think the people who did survive the first couple months are gonna starve to death, most of them.
Well, especially here in the north, like, it's probably easier not to starve to death out here, but in the winter, a lot of people.
Well, you gotta know what you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know how to fucking ice fish. You gotta know how to fucking snare if you're gonna fucking survive in the winter.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'm just talking about the cold, right?
Yeah.
The cold would kill a lot of people up here in the north because sometimes it gets to minus, like, you know, minus 30, minus 35, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, like...
we have a couple storms, like, it can go fucking way lower than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the past couple weeks have been fucking crazy up here. Like, motherfuckers would die for sure.
Oh, for sure, 100%. I mean, what was it? Probably like,
I think
almost a month ago now, but it was like walking from where I live to here was...
it definitely dipped around minus 40 and shit. Like, it was fucking
with the wind chill and everything. Yeah, it was really bad.
I mean, we've had a couple good fucking storms. I mean, you imagine being caught out in that shit, like,
or even just in a house. You're in a house and you don't have power for heat. Like, unless you have like a wood stove or a fireplace in your house, right? Like, people like where we live and stuff, it would be, you wouldn't be able to stay there because there would be no heat.
You would have to get fucking creative right fucking quick.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to
fucking build your own, basically.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. It would be... it would certainly be something to see. Like, I mean, I wouldn't mind trying to survive, but I wouldn't want to have that. Like, I wouldn't mind going out into the bush and trying to survive, but knowing I can come back to this.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't want to have to do it. Like, I wouldn't want to actually have to do it. I think I would kind of enjoy it for the first, like, week or something, right? Like, it would be kind of fun.
I think it would be fun, yeah, for sure. I want to do it.
But you would get, well, personally, I would get over it. Like, I would get to the point where it's like, I don't really want to do this anymore. You know what I mean?
I mean, it depends. It depends. Do I have a steady supply of fucking booze? Because I could probably do it for like a month at least if I was getting drunk.
If you're able to get drunk every day, then that's kind of a different story.
Well, I guess that seems like the natural stopping point for that one.
Yeah.
Who rambled on here for almost fucking 50 minutes.